So welcome everyone. In this video we will talk about the instrumentation of conductometric titrations. Okay. So in the previous video we have already talked about the principle of conductometry, and we also discussed about conductance, and in another video we talked about different kinds of titrations which can be performed by using the conductometric titration. Okay. So these are the topics which we have already covered under the conductometric titration. So in this video we are going to talk about the instruments which are used to measure the conductance of an electrolytic solution. So that is what we will discuss in this video. So now let us begin. So there are two main components which are used for the measurement of the conductance of an electrolytic solution. Okay, the very first one is a conductivity cell and the next one is a conductometer, and about these two components we are going to discuss in detail in this video. So firstly let us begin with the conductivity cell. So firstly we will talk about the conductivity cell. So conductivity cell is a glass vessel with two electrodes at definite distance apart and filled with a solution whose conductivity is to be measured. Okay, so for example this is any kind of glass vessel, and in this glass vessel two electrodes are fixed at some definite distance apart, and the solution whose conductivity we have to measure, we place that solution in this vessel. So now this whole equipment becomes our conductivity cell. Okay, this is the basic of our conductivity cell. Now for different kinds of solutions different kinds of conductivity cells are used, and in this video we will talk about the three most common types of conductivity cell which are used in the conductometry. Okay, so some common type of conductivity cells are, the very first one is for low conductance measurement. As you can this is the diagram for the conductivity cell which is used for low conductance measurement. So it consists of a wide mouth bottle with cork having holes for passing two platinum wires. Okay, so here these two platinum wires are passed, and the solution, this is the solution whose conductivity is to be measured, and we place that solution in this vessel. So this is our conductivity cell which is used for the low conductance measurement. So now let us see the second type of conductivity cell. So this is our second type of conductivity cell. This type of cell is used for precipitating type of reaction. Okay, so in this what happens that in this type of cell the electrodes are fixed in the lid which has opening for the stirrer and the burette. Okay, so the electrodes are being fixed in this lid, and this lid has opening for stirrer and the burette, and the faces of electrode plates are vertical and parallel. Okay, so these are the faces of the electrode plates, and both of these faces they are vertical and parallel to each other, and in this the solution is being placed, and this type of arrangement is used for the precipitating type of reaction. Now let us see the third type of common conductivity cell. So this is the third type which is known as the dip type electrode. Okay, so this is the dip type electrode. So in this what is there that it consists of a wide bore glass tube, the tip of which has two platinum plates. Okay, so this is a wide bore glass tube, and at the tip there are two platinum these are platinum electrodes and these are platinum plates. Okay, so the glass tube contain two fixed copper wires, the terminals of which are taken out for connection. So these are the connecting wires. Okay, and the platinum plates are coated with the platinum black to reduce the polarization. Okay, so these platinum plates they are coated with the platinum black to reduce the polarization. So with the reduced polarization the resistance will also be reduced, so that is why it is important to reduce the polarization effect. So this was all under the conductivity cell. Okay, now let us talk about the second component of our second component which is used in this type of conductometric titration, and that is the conductometer. So now let us talk about the conductometer. The instrument which is used for the measurement of the conductance of any electrolytic solution is known as the conductometer, and it works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge, and we will discuss the principle of Wheatstone bridge in a few minutes, because in order to understand better that how do we measure the conductance, it is important to firstly understand the principle of Wheatstone bridge. And firstly before that there is one important point to be discussed over here, that the current source which is used in the conductometer is alternating current. Okay, because the direct current cannot be used as it causes the electrolysis of the solution which leads to the polarization which causes high cell resistance. Okay, so this is the reason why alternating current is preferred over direct current. This is an important point in this under the conductometer. Now here is the construction for our basic conductometer. So before understanding this, let us talk about the principle of the Wheatstone bridge. Then only you will be able to better understand that how do we use this kind of arrangement for measuring the conductance of a solution. Okay, so we are here talking about the Wheatstone bridge. So in Wheatstone bridge, basically it consists of 4 arms. Okay, like this there are 4 arms. I'm just drawing a rough diagram. A, B, C, D. In between there is a galvanometer for measuring the current, and these arms have some kind of resistance. Okay, and there is a key, and then the batteries, like that. So this is the basic arrangement. And now here between arm A and B there is resistance R1, we suppose, and between B and C there is resistance R2. Similarly here is the resistance R3 and the resistance R4. Okay, so R2 here is any unknown resistance which we have to measure. Okay, and R1 is a variable resistance. Variable resistance means that the value of R1 can vary. Okay, so what happens that when the current flows through this circuit, the variable resistance, which is R1, it is adjusted in such a way that there is no current position. No current position means that there is no deflection in the galvanometer, and when this happens we say that that is a null point. Okay, so at null point what happens that there is an equation which says that R1 upon R2 is equals to R3 upon R4. Okay, this is at null point, that when the value of R1 is adjusted in such a way that there is no deflection in the galvanometer, that is our null point. And at null point what happens that R1 upon R2 is equals to R3 upon R4, and we know that R1 is any kind of unknown resistance. So by knowing the values of R1, R3 and R4, we can finally calculate the value of our unknown resistance R2. Okay, so now you might wonder that why we are calculating the resistance over here when we have to calculate the conductance. So that you will see in a few minutes that why are we calculating the resistance. Okay, so here I just wanted to explain you the basic equation of our Wheatstone bridge, which we are going to use in this video for calculating the conductance of our solution, and that is this equation. So I hope the basic principle of Wheatstone bridge is clear to you. Okay, so now let us see the diagram for the this instrument. So this is the basic diagram, and we will understand this diagram in detail step by step. Firstly, let us see the method of measurement. So the method of measurement of the conductance. Okay, so the conductance of a solution is the reciprocal of its resistance. Therefore, the experimental determination of the conductance of a solution involves the measurement of its resistance measured by the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, just now we discussed that by Wheatstone bridge we can calculate the unknown resistance, and in the previous video also we have discussed that the conductance, which is represented by G, it is the reciprocal of resistance. Okay, so by knowing the resistance we can know the conductance, because we can reciprocate it. Okay, so the value of resistance which we will get by the reciprocal of it, we will finally know the conductance. So okay, so in this so it is easier to calculate the resistance, and by reciprocating it we will finally know the conductance. So that is what we are going to do in this, okay, in this part. So this is the what is being said over here, that the conductance is the reciprocal of resistance, and by knowing the resistance we can know the conductance, and by the resistance is measured by the Wheatstone bridge, and that is why I was trying to explain to you that how do we calculate the unknown resistance by the principle of our Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so now let us understand step by step that how do we calculate the resistance of that solution. So the solution whose conductance is to be measured is placed in the conductivity cell and is attached to the Wheatstone bridge between the point B and C. Now we have already talked about the conductivity cell, that it is a cell which contains the solution whose conductance is to be measured. Okay, so now let us see the diagram. So this is our conductivity cell which contains a solution whose conductance is to be measured, and this conductivity cell is connected to our Wheatstone bridge between point B and C. Okay, this is point B and this is point BC. Between the arm B and C, this conductivity cell has been attached. Now let us see the next point. Here. So it says that the cell is placed in a thermostat to keep the temperature constant, because conductance varies with temperature. Yes, so as you can see from the diagram that this conductivity cell is placed in a water thermostat so that the temperature remains constant, because conductivity varies with temperature, and in order so that there is no change in the conductance of the solution, that is why this water thermostat is important. So the next point says that a variable standard resistance box is attached between the points A and B, just like we said in the Wheatstone bridge that a variable resistance is there. Okay, so between the point A and B there is a standard resistance box whose value, this is a variable resistance whose value can vary. Okay, so this is what is being said in this point. A suitable value of resistance R is taken out from the standard resistance box. Yes, a suitable value is taken out, and the null point is detected by moving the sliding contact, that is jockey represented by J, on the wire AC, so that minimum sound is obtained in the earphone. Okay, so this is basically a practical work that how do we actually calculate the resistance by using the Wheatstone bridge, and you will understand this point better if you have actually performed any experiment that involved this Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so but we don't need to go in all that detail because here the Wheatstone bridge is not important. Only what we have to do, we need to know how exactly do we are we calculating the conductance. So that is why we are using this. So basically what is there, that this A and C, from A to C, this is a wire, and there is a moving sliding contact which is known as the jockey, which is represented by J, and by sliding this jockey over this wire, there is a point that at that point there is minimum sound on the earphone, and that point is supposed to be our null point, and in this diagram we have supposed that D is our null point. Okay, so we know that at null point we have derived one equation, so that is that equation we are going to use over here to know the resistance between this arm. Okay, because this arm is connected to our conductivity cell, and our conductivity cell contains our solution whose conductivity is to be measured. Now it says that this corresponds to the null point, and let this point be D. So at this balance point or null point, what is happening, that the resistance R upon resistance X is the resistance of the electrolytic solution, is equal to the resistance of wire AD upon resistance of wire CD. Okay, and the resistance of wire AD corresponds to the length of AD, and the resistance of wire CD corresponds to the length of CD. Okay, so D is our null point, and there is some kind of resistance between the arm A and D, and some kind of resistance between the arm D and C, and here this is a kind of Wheatstone bridge arrangement, so that is why we are deriving that equation. Okay, so these two values we have taken equal to this one. Okay, so finally we can we get a formula for calculating the resistance X. So resistance X is equals to resistance R into length of CD upon length of AD. This is kind of a practical thing only, but when you have to write in the theory part, you only need to write this formula because we are not doing any kind of calculations over here. Okay, so thus by knowing the resistance R and the balance point D, the resistance X of the electrolytic solution can be calculated, and once we will know the resistance, what will happen, that the reciprocal of the resistance gives the value of the conductance of the solution. Okay, so this is how we calculate the conductance of a solution by using the Wheatstone bridge arrangement. Firstly we will calculate the resistance which is being offered by that solution, and then by reciprocating that value we will know the conductance of that solution. Okay, so I hope you like this video, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.